Hello everyone, welcome back to the Horsemen of Hell. On today's episode we will be talking about the case of Annabelle doll. We have Saffron, Lily, Heather and me, your host Chloe.
Hello.
So first we have Heather talking about Annabelle.
Okay, so Annabelle, as you all know, was originally a Raggedy Ann doll and was given to Donna, a nursing student, in 1970 by her mum. Donna lived with her roommate Angie, and they started to notice the doll was moving from room to room. Ooh, scary.
Ooh.
One night, Donna and Angie came back home and they saw parchment paper on the floor with the words "Help us, help Lou" written in a child's handwriting. They did not own parchment paper. And they found Annabelle sitting on the foot of Angie's bed, where Donna left her on her bed. Donna and Angie had a friend called Lou, and one night when he was staying round, Annabelle began to crawl up Lou and started to strangle him until he passed out. And then the next day, Lou apparently heard rustling in Donna's room and entered to find that no one had been in there and Annabelle had been tossed on the floor. However, when he approached the doll, he doubled over in pain and his shirt was bloody and he had scratch marks in the marks of the beast, which healed almost immediately.
Parchment paper thing first, I think. Let's talk about that. Because if they didn't own parchment paper, they didn't own, what do we think? Do we think it happened? Because they could have easily lied about it, yes. But do we think, it's possible?
They could have, but it's possible because I don't know. I think this might just be making it up, but I think they said that it was round the back of their apartment building, that there was parchment paper, near the bins. That's where it's from. So, Annabelle did a little run, came back.
Do we think that demons can do that? Do we think that Annabelle could have realistically gone on paper and written it? Do you think this actually?
Yeah, if it's strong enough. If it's strong enough.
If it was strong enough to strangle Lou.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's strong enough to go for a little run.
Grab
some.
Or just rummage through the bin or something.
Do we reckon? Do we reckon that this happened? Do we reckon this is real? Because I think you never know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no proof saying it's not. There's no proof saying that it is.
But then again, it can also be just Lou or Angie just taking the Michael out of Donna because she has a doll at the ripe old age of 28.
Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing getting a present like that for your mum.
I mean, imagine getting a Barbie doll from your mum when you turned 28.
I mean, if you think about it, it is quite creepy because the Raggedy Ann doll itself, I think, is creepy. And getting that at 28.
Yes, I think the real doll is scarier than the one that we've seen.
Yeah, in the films.
What, in the film?
In the films. Yeah,
Yes.
because thing is, the one in the films you'd expect to see and be scary. Do you know what I mean? This plastic little weird doll. The Raggedy Ann one is absolutely terrifying because it looks unsuspecting.
It is.
Yeah.
It looks innocent.
And it's
it's
a
real.
huge doll. It is big.
Massive.
It's not tiny like the Annabelle in the films. It's a big doll.
Yeah, but it was also it's a soft doll, isn't it? It's a Raggedy Ann.
Exactly. That's what I'm
It's a little plush.
unsuspecting, terrifying.
Exactly.
But if I was a demon, because
Why
You
not?
are.
why would I choose a doll instead of a knife?
So people don't suspect you?
Exactly.
Yeah, but who's going to suspect a
never know.
knife? You're not going to be chopping onions one day and then bloody kill you. You wouldn't be suspecting that, would you?
Yeah, but who would believe a knife being possessed?
You would
one.
believe a
I
doll
think
being
can
possessed.
random objects be possessed? I guess they could be. I think
Yeah.
it's easier to take the thought. I don't know how it works.
But I think the demon was said by Ed and Lorraine Warren, who looked at the case after
What do
they
we?
contacted a medium, said that they couldn't be possessed, they could be manipulated
Yeah.
instead.
What do we think about the scratch mark thing, which healed immediately? Does that mean that nobody saw the scratch marks?
Conveniently.
It's just this
Yeah.
happened. You've got to take my word for it.
Yeah, conveniently. Oh my god, I'm oh my god, Annabelle scratched me. Oh my god, where? It healed immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
do you
a
know what
lie.
I mean?
I think that's less likely to happen than the whole writing parchment thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you would have some mark from it.
That's actual, like, magical, like, witchcraft shit. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
they did say that apparently there was like a sort of like scarring for like a few days and then it completely disappeared.
I mean, if people actually saw the scars, then fair enough, because
Yeah.
somehow they got there. But if it was just like, oh, this happened and now I'm fine, like, I don't know.
Yeah. They said that his shirt was bloody as well, so
I mean, there's ketchup, fake blood.
yeah.
Do it to your
Tomato sauce.
Ketchup. You would know because you'd be able to smell it. Like, that sort of thing,
That's
like,
true.
you can't
Yeah,
really fake.
If he's like, oh, I put it in the washing machine like straight away.
Yeah.
But so who saw these, like,
They don't say, like, when I was researching it, it just said, oh, he had scratch marks, then there was like marks on his skin for 3 days after that, and then they completely disappeared. Like, it didn't say like
Yeah. I
if
guess there's not too
anyone
much
else
on it,
saw
'cause
it.
it is, like, it happened a while ago.
yeah, but it was
Yeah.
only the 70s. They still had like a camera. There could have been like
Yeah.
one picture of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, but did they really think to gather evidence like that back then, though?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Probably.
if I had a massive scratch mark on my chest,
That happened
By a
because,
doll.
yeah, you take a photo of
yeah, I'd be like,
Yeah.
it, fucking
Look at
look
my
what's
chest.
happened here, like, you would.
Alright, and did Lou die? Because I thought I read somewhere that he died later on, and then everyone says it's
No.
be a part of it.
didn't that happen in the movie? That happened in the movie. It's like Lou was strangled by the doll.
I thought you said that the doll was weeks away because Ed and Lorraine showed
Yeah.
up, didn't they?
Yeah, Ed and Lorraine concluded that the doll apparently, like the demon, like that was like manipulating the doll, was a few weeks away from completing his task or its task, which was like leading to the death of Donna and Angie and possibly Lou.
Oh.
So
That's why they took the doll.
Okay.
We'll be right back after a short advert break.
Hi, is there someone there? If you are, move the board.
You really think there's a ghost with us? There's no such... Stop moving it.
I'm not.
This isn't funny. I'm not playing anymore.
It says not to play alone.
You're not alone. Ouija board. Is there really another side? Available at all leading supermarkets, Amazon and sign shops worldwide.
Hi. Have you lost a loved one recently and would like the opportunity to contact them? Then look no further. My name is Anne Swan and I'm a medium. I specialise in contacting the afterlife during a séance, which will give you the chance to communicate to people beyond. Contact me on 077 8912 for a special offer for 2-to-1 séances at only £50 if you call today or book an appointment on my website at www.medium4u.co.uk.
And we're,
Make a sound effect.
We're back. Right.
We're back, yay! Woo!
Is it time to? Because the last thing we were talking about was Ed and Lorraine showing up and giving
Yeah.
what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Should we delve into them as people?
Yeah, I mean, apparently
Because there's quite.
there's a lot of stuff, but kind of keep it in like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to. So just a little brief thing on Ed and Lorraine, because obviously everybody sort of knows them from the Conjuring universe. Ed was a self-taught, self-professed demonologist. He was an author and a lecturer, so he used to give lectures on all the demons and stuff like that. And Lorraine was professed to be clairvoyant, so she said that she could learn things like objects, people, location, and physical events through extrasensory perception, and she was also a light trance medium. And they had like so many books and stuff, and they created like this thing called NESPR, or like NESPR, which they use for all of their investigations, which I think is still going now. They used to have an occult museum which shut in 2019 after Lorraine died, and it used to run at like the back of their house, and people would just turn up, take photos, specifically with Annabelle, who was locked in a box. Like you see it in the films and stuff, and she's like surrounded by crosses and whatever. I think most important thing to sort of add here before we get into what other professionals and stuff thought about them. They were members of a Roman Catholic church, and they said that demonic forces are likely to be likely to attack and possess those who lack faith. So they already had this belief that, like, unless you were either, I don't know if it's just all kinds of faith or if it was just specifically Roman Catholicism, but if you were outside of that, you were more likely to get possessed, which I don't think's true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to attack, if demon's going to attack someone, it's going to attack anyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, unless, like, you know, the whole thing with holy water and, like, crosses and that is real. If you break a cross, then more likely, you know. But we don't know if that's real or not, so...
I mean, Ed and Lorraine Warren, when they were driving Annabelle back to their house, apparently, as Ed was, like, approaching an intersection, his brakes cut off, and, like, he couldn't use his brakes. So apparently, like, they nearly crashed, they nearly died, and it wasn't until that Ed's, like, blessed and, like, put a cross over Annabelle that it stopped, which is sort of like, you know, the power of Christ.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, of course. You know,
Yeah,
of course
like,
it's
of course
gonna
it's
be.
like a crossover, like,
Yeah.
Annabelle.
But then again, we don't. It's not like we know, but it just feels like a bit of a reach.
Yeah.
Because apparently they stopped outside a cemetery.
Is that in the film?
Yeah, because it's in the film and they just dramatise it. That's in the third Annabelle movie
Yeah.
that they do that. So they kept that.
Also.
Sorry, I was going to go back to Ed and Lorraine, just so people get like a feel of who they were as people. They had like several huge cases, and many other people and professionals who did their sort of line of work also looked into them. And there was a case called Amityville, and it was basically a couple that got driven out of their home because of this demonic presence. And these two conspiracy authors said that it was a hoax, and obviously Lorraine denied it because she looked into it, but like many people think that the couple invented the horror story over many bottles of wine, so people already have their feelings that this sort of stuff didn't happen.
Yeah.
And was like like an investigator and a skeptic was like, the story was refuted by eyewitnesses and forensic evidence. So there's a lot of people who don't believe kind of what they do. And there was somebody somewhere, here we go, this was after another case. Here we go. And it was a family that had all kinds of problems, and their house was a former funeral home, so obviously infested by demons. Kind of, you know, figures, makes sense.
Place.
Yeah, perfect place. And one author called Ray Garton said that the family involved was going through some serious problems like alcoholism and drug addiction and could not keep their story straight. He interviewed the family over what was going on for his book, and he said that he was very frustrated and it was hard writing a book when all the people involved were telling you different stories. And he said about Lorraine, he said, if she told me the sun would come up tomorrow morning, I'd get a second opinion. So like most people didn't trust like her. I don't necessarily know about Ed, but most people didn't trust her and whatever she said. And to be fair, her like powers, like being able to sense, like have extra sensory stuff, and be like a medium. Both of them are quite, unless you've got proof, they are both quite hard things to prove that you are.
Yeah.
But like, you know.
I mean, if like Lorraine in the films, I'm sure you know, she's like the hero in the films, isn't she?
Yeah, she's an icon in the film.
She's like, and for her to be like, you know, I have these powers that I can sense all these like spirits and demons and all that malarkey. Just like it does make you wonder, like
how real is this?
Yeah, like
how much of this is
it
real?
was
How
gonna
much
be
of this
real.
is you getting a profit out of it? Because
Exactly.
they talk about profits quite a lot, especially like this was for The Conjuring 2. There was they came over to North London to investigate a case, and many people again called it a hoax and said it was carried out by attention-hungry children. But the Warrens were like convinced that it was this like huge demonic presence that was going on, and there was like they showed up uninvited to this house as well, and nobody knew who they were when they showed up. And they were just like, "Hi, we think you've got demonic presence," and everyone was like, "Who are you? Where have you come from? Like, please go away." So The Conjuring 2 shows them really in the case, and in reality they showed up once and weren't allowed in. But Ed said to the person, his name was Guy, he said to Guy, who was investigating the case, and said that Ed allegedly told Guy that they could make a lot of money out of the case. They could make like money out of what they were doing, and it was like, you can make a lot of money out of this, and then that was it, and then they left because they weren't allowed in, obviously. But it was like, oh, like, hi, you're doing the same line of work as we are, you can make a lot of money out of this. Like, like following things like that, if you've got reports of people being like, if Lorraine, you know, I don't trust her, and Ed's talking about getting things out of profit, and obviously they're making all these books and blah, blah, blah. Like, they're making a load of money from doing this. Like, how much of it in the beginning is actually real, and then how much towards the end is just them sort of profiting off of people's fears and stuff like that? Because it is terrifying.
I mean,
like, it's an easy thing to, like, easy get money out of, because, like, it's
people
terrifying.
get terrified, yeah, because they believe
It's the unknown. Like, it's so scary for people.
Exactly, because like, what we've been saying is, you don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah.
So they can make up as much as they want.
Exactly.
And get money off of it.
They could be like, if you don't give us 50 quid, the demon's going to kill you tomorrow night.
Yeah. Like, you could easily,
People would
like,
believe it.
Yeah. Especially, like, sort of back in the 70s as well. Loads of people, especially, like, if you look at America as well, where the majority of their work is based, even now, people are so religious and things like that. Things like demonic forces and presences are absolutely, like, terrifying, because it's like the devil and Satan and stuff like that. So it's even worse for people who are religious.
That's why I think it comes into, like, with the Annabelle, these are two women living together. Yeah. Right? And I don't know, like in the films, I think like Lou's one of their boyfriends or something.
Yeah, he's one of their
boyfriends. If they're like Roman Catholics, are they Roman?
I have no idea.
If they're like proper religious, proper Christian,
you could pray on
like two women living together. Yep, you've got a demon. Like you've got a demon in your house.
That's so
they're
scary.
also good.
You know what I mean?
They're nurses. So
they're nurses.
So they're
living together. People. They're roommates. You know, they might be more than roommates. You never know. But like, it goes into the whole thing of like, oh, if you're like not conforming to the Catholic ways, you're gonna be like.
Yeah, because they're 28 as well. Like if one of them's 28, I would like. I think they.
There's some stuff going on in like between Donna and Angie. I'm saying it now.
And then they were roommates.
They were roommates. I think they could easily prey on people's vulnerabilities after seeing it was working. I think they could like easily sense, especially people who are religious and like America, who is like full of religious people. That sort of thing is even scarier to them because they will obviously use the cross to fight off these demonic presences that are like from the devil and stuff like that. And they can easily prey on other religious people's vulnerabilities as well, because it is like, that is terrifying. I just think, I don't like this whole thing, the whole Annabelle and stuff like that and these demons could very much be real. But do I trust it coming from Ed and Lorraine after seeing who they actually were as people?
Not really.
No.
Not really. Like, I don't necessarily trust them.
I think they're a bit dodgy.
But it also goes to say that if you say that demons are real and it's like they could be real, I think absolutely not. There's no way that they could be real. But I just feel like going into the vulnerability, they can just show up at someone's house. They're well known. They're like sort of famous, you know. They're a B-list celeb.
They definitely are now.
Yeah, they're a B-list celeb. You know, like if they show up at this this family house and they go, and like Lorraine goes, I feel that you've got a demonic presence.
Terrifying.
And like even if like nothing happened, like nothing like supernatural happens, they're gonna believe him anyway.
Yeah, you would.
You would. If someone came up to me and was like, you got like a demon in your house, I'd be like, all right, mate.
But these are people
whatever.
that have done so much work.
Yeah.
People are going to trust them.
Exactly.
And it's very easy for people to manipulate that kind of trust and, you know. I just, I don't know if I trust them, but I think this whole thing could very much be real.
Yeah. I think it just, because like getting other like demonologists and stuff, their opinions on it as well. But they're just a bit dodgy and they're more in it for the money than anything else.
Yeah.
I think.
I understand the work they do and stuff like that, and their work could very much all be real for like other people, but I just feel like there's something kind of dodgy about what they're doing. Because if you're turning up to cases and talking to other people, being like, you can make money from this, like, is that really what you should be doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, how professional is that?
You should be curing the house of demons.
Yeah.
Like
what's your ulterior motives? Is that's what they feel like?
I mean, everyone has ulterior motives. Like, everyone does. Like,
it's just they just don't seem very truthful for what they're
don't.
trying to come across when you look back. What's the thing that you say when it's like all the cases and you just don't hear about stuff like this happening anymore?
Like, how many cases do you hear of now of demonic possession? Like, honestly.
Never.
Like,
Yeah, you don't really
never hear
know.
anything about, like, yeah, you might see a video on TikTok of like, oh, I saw my chair moving. Like, you might see that. But you don't have these, like, high-profile cases of whole families being, like, possessed. Like, what? The demon was just like, nah. I'm just going to stick with the 70s and the 80s. Like, now that there's technology to catch me, I'm not going to do it. Like, you know what I mean?
It is. Because especially, like, if you see ghost hunting and things like that, like, so much of it is so very clearly set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, back then, it was so believed to be real. What's the odds that even that was set up? Do you know what I mean? Like, it just...
I mean, I watch a channel that they do, like, ghost hunting. And like one of them really believes it, and one of them like is like me, just like, he's like they don't exist. Like, come on, Ryan, they don't exist. And the other one's like shit scared. Like, he's got like a little like spirit box that apparently that talks to the spirits, and it's basically just like he's picking up the radio signals by accident, and so he's like getting like weird words. It's like it's just a radio signal, but he's like it's a ghost.
And
it's funny. Like I don't watch it because I'm like, oh, they're gonna capture like a ghost. I watch it because it's hilarious.
It is, yeah.
I think with these like people who go ghost hunting, there's a lot of them on YouTube basically, and there is a lot of like different ghost devices and stuff you can get now. Some of them like you just catch the radio and it's like that's not believable. There's some though that are like a bit creepy, like there's this like ball, I don't know what it's called, and it lights up when someone walks past it and they're nowhere near it and it keeps on lighting up, and like there's a box, I don't know, it's like a or what's it called? You know, with the ballerina and it pops up and then it makes that little noise.
Jack in the Box.
Oh yeah.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
And it twists when it has something near it. And like they're far away and it keeps on twisting and it's really fun. So like sometimes some stuff like that I'm just like, oh my god, I feel like there's like because explain that, and there's no wind, it's in a house that's in the night,
like
boarded up, and it's like twisting and it's going off and off and off, and then they say, oh, step away, and then it stops.
Yeah, like now I think a lot of ghost hunting stuff like that is very much for entertainment because there's a profit, there's a market for it. And I think even then, like if we're talking about how it is now, it could easily still been like that back in the day, like 30, 40 years ago, it could still very much be the same.
Exactly.
I think Annabelle again has been hugely profited on because she is terrifying. Like with the films and stuff, so many people see her as like the absolute front of like The Conjuring because she is huge. Like she is like what do you think when you think horror films?
Annabelle.
She is your basic starter pack for your 14-year-old sleepover.
Is always scared.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. It's like, oh, we're in like year 9, year 10. Let's watch a horror film. Oh,
Exactly.
Annabelle. Like that's what you aim for.
She's like in the first Conjuring, and then she has 3 whole movies to herself.
And she's terrifying. She's terrifying.
Like she's talking it.
I mean,
It's
just a doll.
It's not even a doll. Like it's when like the little girl walks about as well. It's like both of them. So it's like double the presence. It is scary.
Double the.
But that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to up the scare factor than what it actually is.
Because it's entertainment. So I think it's
Everything is entertainment. Like everything.
absolutely.
Yeah, they like in the films. Like in all 3 of, I'm just gonna talk about Annabelle films.
Talk about our films.
They just
Wait, should we take it to an ad break before you talk about films?
Yes.
Let's go adverts.
Advert. Ding ding. Film.
Mum, where did you put Walking Wendy?
She's on the sofa.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she is.
Wendy, I found it, Mum.
Buy your child their own Walking Wendy doll today and get half price off matching clothes.
If I used Year After Life to prepare for this moment, I paid £117 and 49 pence to pay for my gravestone and have my message carved in. So no one has to do it for me. And for a further, I paid for my confessions letter to be held and printed so my family can read it at my funeral or wherever I've requested. So if you unexpectedly die, you can confess to whatever you need to, whoever you need to. Year After Life, because the afterlife is yours.
Okay, we're back.
There we go. We're back.
We're back. So
in like 5
Saffron, you
seconds.
have something to say.
Yes. Well, in the 3 Annabelle movies, so 1 second. Right, at the end of the first Annabelle.
Sorry.
At the end of the first Annabelle movie, the Annabelle was purchased at an antique shop, and then in the second movie they keep the name of the doll and who it's supposed to be possessed by. So basically it leads into each other, like her buying the doll and then giving it to her, and then they have her for the film. Sorry.
Like they took the Annabelle story and really ran with it, obviously.
Yeah, because they kept, so in the second movie, they kept, because there was a medium that came and spoke to them because they were scared and stuff.
Yeah.
And she said that there was a 7-year-old girl called Annabelle Higgins in the doll. That's who it's possessing. And then they said, yes, we'll keep her what's it called? Spirit in the doll. And so they kept that in the movie, but then obviously they dramatized it. And then in the third movie, like I said earlier, when they were on the way home, Ed and Lorraine, they stopped out, their car broke down, they stopped outside the cemetery, and the doll attacked Ed.
So
Yeah.
the doll attacked Ed.
It did. She just came up and just
But what actually happened and what happens in the films is so different, because I think so many people have dolls and it is something you give to a child and it's a very childlike gift, and there's something about dolls that are now terrifying because of things like Annabelle.
My grandma had dolls.
Terrifying.
And I watched it, and I didn't. I stepped in a room with the dolls, and they never used to bother me. I used to play with their hair, I used to play with their thing, and then my
Bothered
cousin showed me the Annabelle trailer, and all of a sudden I couldn't sleep in that room anymore.
That was it, yeah. Because it's such a childlike gift. It is. It's so much
innocent.
scarier. Yeah.
It's so innocent, and that's why it's so much more creepy, because it's like this innocent thing that is just creepy. Dolls are creepy anyway, especially porcelain dolls.
Probably because of Annabelle, isn't it?
Sorry.
Okay, well,
So, Annabelle films.
just like you said,
She's unsuspectingly scary, which I think is why she's done so well and has become the front of horror films.
and everyone knows who she is.
Yeah.
She is a famous
even
doll.
if you haven't watched the films, you know who she is.
Like,
Lie, Chloe.
You know who she is. I mean, she's not Barbie, but she is pretty well known. Are we doing tweets now?
do you want to move on to the tweets?
Yeah, should I just talk about the tweet?
Do you want to use a little sound effect to go into the tweets?
This
Go on.
one. So we have some tweets to read out. Thank you guys, everyone, fans and stuff.
Slay.
First tweet is from Shannon 2. She asks, how do you guys get along with such different opinions?
Well, I'm very opinionated, and I.
Yeah.
It's basically how do you guys get along with me?
No, we all respect each other's opinions, which I think is the main one. Unless it is actually wrong and there's a big reason behind why it's wrong, but most of the stuff that we've talked about today is it's just
it's
what you
clear
believe
where
in
we
or-
stand.
So it doesn't really
things.
affect our friendship at all, because we leave it
We
here.
leave it,
and that's it.
we leave it in the studio. We leave it in the recording
Yeah,
we leave all of this in the recording studio. Outside of the recording studio, we're fine.
No, it just doesn't affect us. It doesn't really matter because we don't really talk about it.
Yeah, we don't
purposely
sit
outside.
at lunch and go,
Stand
so
arguments.
Annabelle.
Yeah, no.
Right, let's start the argument for Annabelle. Let's go over.
Yeah, we never actually.
They had to
beefed
fight
this out.
once.
Yeah.
Full on fight.
I don't think we've
Some
ever
point
had
never
beef
actually
over.
sparked
I don't
each
think we've
other out.
ever had beef over a case. I think.
We're
No,
never going
it's-
to have any.
It stays in the studio. We respect each other's opinions.
That's kind of it.
We get on with it.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
On with it. Stay professional.
Next question.
Roxanne69. Wow. Love idea for podcast. Love Ed and Lorraine. Glad you guys are talking about them. Thank you. Why do you love Ed and Lorraine?
Well, we respect people's opinions here.
Maybe today's brought you some light on who they are as people, but
Maybe you might change your
shame
opinion.
people, but
Tweet us if you have.
amazing.
Yep. Ghost Love 666. Have you guys considered going ghost hunting? No.
No. Terrifying.
Wait, what? I think that'd be so funny.
No.
I'd be terrified.
You'd be
No.
shitting
It
yourself.
It'd be so funny because I'd just be like, it's the wind. And you'd be like, oh my god, it's a ghost.
No, it would scare me so much. Like, I'd be so paranoid that I think it would just really, it would really get to me for
I'm
no
up
reason.
for it.
I'm
I'm up for it.
I would do it, but I'll be terrified, which I think would make
Also,
it quite
a waste
entertaining.
of an evening. Like, I need to be in bed by like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, not to take the piss, but I need to be in bed by a certain
Yeah.
time.
That is,
I can't
Lily,
do a night like
that's
that.
sad. I
One
think
morning
we
with
should
no
definitely
remorse.
do ghost hunting.
I
I
think
think we should
we
definitely
should.
do that. I think that's so
We'll be
sick.
up at like 3 a.m.
We can do it in my room.
3 a.m. the
There.
spooky hour.
We can do it in my
Get out
bedroom.
of my face. No, I'm not doing it.
Okay, next week, Jerry the Mouse. Nice. In
Good
my
name.
opinion, ghosts don't exist and people are just good at Photoshop.
Heaven.
That's
I think that's the case for it now. In like,
Jerry
Yeah.
the Mouse, you're on my side.
I think that's very much for nowadays.
People are
as
coming
always.
over to the
I don't know,
dark side.
like, was Photoshop in the 70s or 80s? Maybe that's why there's not shit like there is now, because
Yeah, but they just like they just make it's so easy to just like make
it is
the
so
art.
easy to make up. It is.
Like
But some of it could be real. You've just...
exactly.
It's an open mind thing. Like, we actually do never know.
Yeah,
We never will. Unless someone
And-
fully dies, becomes a spirit, and comes back 20 years later, which won't happen.
And we
Like,
know it for a
the
fact.
only
We know
reason
for a
if
fact.
we know, I'd only believe in ghosts and spirits if I myself caught like-
became a spirit.
like no
Oh.
if I caught a spirit on like my phone or something.
How would you know that?
Or if something happened to
You wouldn't know.
Something
It's
happened to me,
Photoshop.
and you
or
can't
like,
explain it.
or if I saw a ghost, like if I actually genuinely saw a ghost.
There's a ghost.
The way I almost looked. The way I was almost like, sharp, man. Actually, that's not.
I'm really scared now.
You brought bad energy.
You scared yourself.
I don't like.
That's
I
the
don't
whole
like
thing
whole
about
ghost
like
thing.
ghosts. You guys just scare yourselves and like
It is.
people like see things because they just
Because
scare
it's the
themselves.
unknown, it scares people a lot more,
They just
Yeah.
make it up in their heads. You know what I
and
mean?
you can easily fake this sort of stuff to get that scary reaction at people. It's very true. But yeah, I think it's everybody's different opinion, and there you go.
Alrighty.
I think that's
Hey, that's
concluded this quite
the
nicely.
that's the end of the tweets and the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening. Yeah, we'll
Thank you.
Thank
talk
you. Bye.
about the haunted halls of the Tower of London, spooky stories that lie within. Stay skeptical. Bye.
Bye.
You wrote that.